hello friends. Once upon a time, in a town surrounded by tall walls, stood a small house. In this house lived a tailor who was respected by all because he always helped those in need. He was honest and hardworking and never took more money than necessary for his services. People liked the tailor very much. One day, when the tailor was sitting alone in his workshop, thinking about how to earn an honest living, suddenly he saw a spool of thread on one of his shelves. It was unusual. It glowed with a soft light and shimmered like a rainbow. The tailor had never seen anything like it before. Hesitantly, he picked up the spool and began winding the thread around his finger. It was smooth and warm, and as he did so, he felt a surge of energy and happiness. Curious, the tailor decided to use this magical thread for his next project. He didn't know what it was or where it came from, but he felt drawn to it and knew that it was something special. First, he mended a ripped coat with it. Then a blanket with holes, and each time he sewed with the enchanted thread, the fabric seemed to heal and become stronger. Old torn clothes became new. Blankets, worn thin with age, became warm and cozy again. Word spread quickly through the town about the tailor's miraculous abilities, and soon he was receiving all kinds of requests. Farmers brought their torn tents and shabby jackets. Mothers came with patches of old quilts and shawls. Everyone wanted the tailor to mend their broken things, and he did his best to help as many people as he could. With each stitch, the tailor felt a sense of satisfaction and joy. He loved seeing the surprised and grateful faces of the townspeople as they received their repaired items back. It seemed like the thread had a mind of its own, guiding his hand and making sure that everything was just right. But as the days passed, the spool of thread began to shrink. The tailor knew that this magical gift couldn't last forever, and he worried about what would happen when it ran out. He thought about keeping it a secret so that no one else would find out about it. But he also knew that wouldn't be fair to the people who needed his help. So instead, he continued to mend and repair whatever he could, trying to make as much difference as possible. Then one day, the king heard about the tailor's amazing abilities and sent for him. "I hear you have a gift for mending things," the king said. "I want you to use it to make me a robe of gold. It should be beautiful and strong, fit for a king." The tailor bowed, but he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. He knew that if he used the magic thread for himself, it would be gone soon, and then he wouldn't be able to help anyone else anymore. "Your Majesty," he said, "I would love to make you a robe, but my gift is only for helping the poor and needy. I can't use it for my own gain or for anyone who doesn't need it." The king was furious. "How dare you refuse my request? Don't you realize who I am? You will make me the robe or face the consequences." The tailor knew he couldn't argue with the king, but he didn't want to give up his gift. So he simply shook his head and said, "Very well, Your Majesty, but please understand that I can't use this thread to make a robe of gold." The king left fuming, and the tailor went back to his work. But now he couldn't concentrate. He kept thinking about what he would do when the magic thread ran out. Would he be able to continue helping people without it? How would the townspeople manage if he couldn't fix their broken things? As the sun set, the tailor sat down in his chair and looked at the small amount of thread left on the spool. Suddenly, he felt a surge of determination. He may not be able to keep the thread and continue helping people, but he could use what he had left to make one last difference. He got up, went to the window, and began looking out over the town. In the distance, he saw the king's palace, and he knew exactly what he had to do. Taking a deep breath, the tailor put the spool of thread in his pocket and started walking toward the palace. It wasn't easy to get past the guards, but the tailor managed to sneak inside. He made his way through the long, dark corridors until he came across the king's bedroom. Peeking inside, he saw the king lying in bed, surrounded by golden robes and jewels. The tailor crept closer and began sewing. With each stitch, the king's robe grew larger and more magnificent. It shimmered and sparkled, and the tailor knew that it was the most beautiful robe in the kingdom. But he wasn't done yet. He continued sewing until he had made enough fabric to cover the entire room. The king's eyes popped open as he watched the tailor work. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "Why are you in my palace?" The tailor didn't answer. He just kept sewing until he had finished the robe. Then he stood up, walked over to the king, and draped the robe over his shoulders. "There you go, your majesty," he said. "A robe of gold, just like you asked." The king looked down at the robe and his face lit up with surprise. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "How did you make it?" The tailor smiled. "It's a secret," he said. "But it's not mine to keep. This gift is meant for everyone, not just me." As the first rays of sunlight peeked through the curtains, the tailor disappeared. The king was left alone in his room, surrounded by the remnants of the golden robe. From that day forward, the king was never seen without a piece of the golden cloth on his body, and the people of the town never knew cold or hunger again. The tailor had used his gift to help as many people as he could, and in doing so, he had made the world a better place. Once upon a time, there was a tailor who found a spool of magical thread that could mend any fabric and bring warmth to anyone who touched it. At first, he used it to help the poor and needy, but when the king demanded that he make a robe of gold for him, the tailor refused. Instead, he went to the palace at night and made a massive golden blanket that covered the entire room. In the end, the king was left with only a few pieces of the golden cloth, and the tailor's gift became a legend in the town. Now, what did we learn from this story? Let's think about it. The tailor was a hard-working and honest man who always tried to help those in need. When he found the magic thread, he knew that it was a gift that he should share with others. He didn't want to keep it for himself or use it for his own gain. Instead, he mended clothes and blankets for the poor, giving them back new life and keeping them warm in the winter. However, when the king demanded that he use the thread to make a robe of gold for him, the tailor refused. He knew that this robe would only benefit the king and wouldn't help anyone else. The tailor was willing to give up his gift rather than use it for selfish purposes. In the end, the tailor used the last of the magic thread to cover the king's room in gold, ensuring that he would never go hungry again. Although the tailor's gift eventually ran out, his act of kindness and generosity remained. He showed that true gifts are meant to be shared with others, not hoarded for personal gain. And that's all for today. If you like our stories, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We post daily quotes, lullabies, and bedtime stories there too. Have a great day and see you next time.